air it out. I hit it, clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman to tear it down. Call plays a quarterback and send him out. I feel it, air it out, air it out. I hit it, clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman to tear it down. Call plays a quarterback and send him out. Take off. I'm on a rocket, a space dog. Bought a new car from Elon, wanna race. I've been asking how long is it gonna take. I've been cracking the car, had to break it safe. I've been riding my wrongs, had to change my ways. I was stuck in one place, so I had to shake. They try holding me down, but I found my way. Riding rich and so bicycle love me. Ride away, then my heart went all ice again. Find the balance, my patience been going thin. In the field every day till I reach the end. Popping up on your side like we out of bounds. Ain't no way that they think that it's stopping now. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. Air it out, air it out. I hit it, clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman to tear it down. Call plays a quarterback and send him out. I feel it, air it out, air it out. I hit it, clear it out, clear it out. I feel like Superman to tear it down. Call plays a quarterback and send him out.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be watching. This is the Air It Out podcast, and my name is Shalia. I have the pleasure of serving as a guest moderator for today. I'm excited to introduce our esteemed panelists, these pros at football knowledge and everything in between. I'm going to pass it first over to Coach Braxton. Coach, how you doing on this beautiful Sunday?
Listen, it's a good Sunday, people. It's a very good Sunday. Y'all see the wifey is here today, everybody. Shout out to our new Molly here, everybody. We love to see it. Love to see it. But yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to talk about football. It's football Sunday, but we gotta wait until Tuesday, I guess, for football again. In what form and fashion? Yeah, like, you know what? It's okay though. It's okay though. I'm ready to go.
Great. Glad to hear it. And yes, we are waiting until Tuesday for this new form of Pro Bowl week. But it's exciting. I'm excited nonetheless because we are this much closer to the big game. So Juan, how are you doing? How are you feeling going into the week?
Good. And won't call out the favoritism of giving Coach the first talk of the show for today. but it's all right, Mrs. Coach, because it's gonna be a great show no matter what. I know Darren and I got plenty to offer for the people, and we're just so excited to finally have you on the show for the first time today. It's truly an honor to have you on today.
Thank you, fellas. I appreciate it. Hopefully I hold down the fort okay. Just for this week only. So that's it. No more after this. But we're going to kick off today by going over the last season. And, as we're going into the big game and we're going into the Super Bowl, just wanted to touch base and see how you all feel. What are the top plays of the year? If you can give me like one or two that you feel like, set the tone for the season, some that you feel like can't be touched for this season as we wind down and reflect on this past season. Juan, I'm going to pass it over to you first since I played favorites the first time. My bad. What do you think are some of the top plays of this past season?
So there are so many that we can reflect on that were just like wow factor plays or plays that really kind of established the dominance of the new rising stars in the NFL, from Puka Nakua's one-handed catch against the Panthers or Jahmyr Gibbs' overtime long touchdown run versus the Giants. But if I had two in mind, the first one is going to go to it was the Thursday night football game that decided the NFC West between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. And it was the overtime 2-point conversion win pass by Sam Darnold to AJ Barner in the back of the end zone. And I feel like that's the play of the year, not only because it was one of the greatest matchups of the year, possibly like the first iteration of what should have been a Super Bowl matchup for the year, but it also set the course for what the Super Bowl matchup was going to be. Like in a race where the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks were basically the best teams in the NFL, Seattle coming out on top and not making it to the Super Bowl, I feel like it was that plays a microcosm of what the course of the season has become. And then for another play that's not even NFL, for me, it's in the college ranks, and it's Fernando Mendoza diving for that game touchdown when he was running in to try to seal it against Miami. You can't picture a more beautiful football play than that when your quarterback, not even a running quarterback, mind you, Mendoza isn't built like that, but when he's giving it all and diving for it like the ultimate movie football play that you can imagine, it's like etched into my brain. I'm not even an Indiana fan, but I loved seeing that so much because we were all rooting for Indiana that day for that program. I feel like that was just beautiful football in general, regardless of what level of competition it was on.
Yeah, I'm with you on. I definitely think, looking at these plays and looking at that play specifically, it lets you see, who the rising stars will be as we go into the draft and as these players are developing in college, people to keep an eye out for if they transition over to the league. So love that pivot. Coach, how about you?
All right, so I'm gonna go to somewhere you actually might not like because they did unfortunately beat the Eagles this year. But Caleb Williams versus the Bengals, the game-winning score, 60 yards to Colston Loveland. That was a microcosm of their entire season wrapped up in one play. Caleb Williams breaks out the pocket, finds a guy wide open, extending the play, doing everything he's done this far this year to show that the Bears actually have a pretty good future ahead of them. Mm-hmm. And it was just great to see because you keep hearing for the last few years, the Bears can't finish. The Bears can't finish. They can't get the score when they need it. They can't get the field goals when they need. They can't get the stop when they need. They got exactly what they needed that game, and they continued to show, especially when they were on about a 6-game win streak during that time frame. And that was one of the best plays to me, just seeing that microcosm of the entire season. But my second is kind of a dual action because it's really a part of this one game. Last game of the year, Ravens versus Steelers. and I'm gonna say it very simply. I could go to the whole Zay Flowers 2 big touchdown scores. No, I'm gonna go to the one that really decided the season, in a Tyler Loop missed field goal from 44 yards out. That determined, one, that the Ravens were not going to make it to the playoffs and allowing Aaron Rodgers to finally make it into the playoffs with another team. And then two, that also sealed the fate of John Harbaugh. So with one bad kick, you sealed the fate of 2 different people and 2 different legacies. Because you ended one here and you continued one in the Steelers. Crazy.
For a week at least, though.
For a week?
Like, hey, listen, for a week is all he needed because when did Aaron Rodgers make a playoff outside of the Packers?
Coach, I'm very surprised with that pick because I would have thought you would have gone with the Kyle Van Noy pick and then giving it to Gilman for the 6 and running it all the way back to basically goose egg the Bengals. Man, I thought you would have hyped that highlight to heck and back, man.
I would love to hype up my team, but I'm trying to be more realistic, and that was the microcosm of our season. Yeah, we had a bunch of great plays. We had 2 Zay Flowers 50-yard touchdown passes, basically out of Lamar breaking tackles, getting removed from sacks, and still somehow we found a way to lose that game, which was something we did all season long. So I can't highlight just the great things. I got to highlight when you mess up too. You got to be objective here, people.
I'll highlight one Jets play because it was the only good play any play with Drake May. You mean like the 6 fumbles in the playoffs, my guy, that you kept getting lucky and losing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, yeah, those are great plays. Oh my God, give him the MVP vote. The only Jets play that I can truly acknowledge was like a good play was that blocked field goal against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 2. Where Will McDonald not only blocked it, but then ran it back for the touchdown right afterwards because it gave us that great Aaron Glenn dancing meme that came out right afterwards. But that's the only good thing I can say about the Jets season. But we're not talking about the Jets right now.
You know what, Juan? I got one more for you. I got one for you. And this one, shout out to you, baby, because it's the Eagles. Let's not talk about the early on season when they still were, 4-0, 5-0, somewhere around that range. And their defense was playing outrageous.
Lights out.
Didn't Fletcher Cox? No, not Fletcher Cox. Oh, I'm sorry. Big Jordan Davis the man that's there to try to replace the guy Fletcher Cox. He came up with not one, but didn't he do it twice? Did he not block a field goal twice in one game?
And took one home?
And then return it? Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a great one.
Dude lost 30 pounds in the offseason.
Avery said that the Eagles fandom in you is definitely showing, and it surely is. You need to get off of
I'm trying to give you props for your team doing well. See, this is why I can't be nice, people.
Allow me to be the bad guy in this one, because I'll also throw in another play involving the Eagles for a play of the year. It was that Jalen Hurts fake run pass over to, I'm going to say it was Devontae Smith, and then one of the Chargers defenders deflects it with one hand, and then another one makes the game-sealing interception in overtime in the other to keep LA season alive, man. Like that was a defensive scheme that was so beautifully drawn up to not only pressure Jalen, who was having a really bad night that night as it was, to force an error, but also keep the Chargers season alive because it was on life support while the rest of the team was also on life support.
Yeah. I'm still healing off of the Eagles season this year. The writings are on the wall from week 2, I'm going to say out loud, but, who am I? But, Coach, you need to get off the John Harbaugh hate train because he's my problem now. He's no longer your problem, so you can let it go.
Oh, no, we good. I'm good. Listen, Jesse Minter, Declan Doyle, I'm happy with what we building over here in B Moore, so we're going to be fine. We're going to be solid. And Lamar will get his Super Bowl within this year or next year. I'm going to give him 2 years. I'm going to give Jesse 2 years.
Your previous coach now has taken in their boots, so.
Lamar will probably be one of those players that he will earn a Super Bowl, probably with another team. But we'll get to that when we hit the road later.
No, let him be like
maybe with the Eagles one day.
Crazy. Let's be real.
He's already losing faith in Jalen Hurts.
Oh wait, don't take it like that. Oh man. See, now I'm gonna just stick to the topic.
Already here. Hot take.
I'm just gonna stick to the topics because clearly everything okay. So looking at this past season, I'm going to take a second to dissect, where our teams are and where the teams in the league should be looking to do in this upcoming offseason. There's only 2 teams left that are still in the fight. The rest of us are sitting at home on the couch plotting for the future. So specifically in the NFC South, we want to look at, what are the biggest priorities for this division? Coaching hires, where should they go in the draft? What should they prioritize in free agency? Coach, since Juan took the last one, I'm going to let you take this one first.
All right, cool. So I got 2 teams that I really want to talk about in the NFC South. Avery, don't chew my head off, but I got the Falcons and I got the Bucks. I'm going to start with your Falcons. So hear me out. The 2 things, at least, I think that y'all really need to make sure happens. 1, I believe you guys have actually done. Find the right head coach going forward. That was the number 1 thing I felt like y'all needed. I didn't feel like Raheem Morris was it for y'all. And I feel like you would agree with me on this one, Avery. He had to go this season. But the second is something that I think y'all can continue to do, but it really depends on how Stefanski wants to have that defense run. I think your next biggest need is to continue to build on what you have with that defensive front. That defensive front has shown so much promise. And I think if you solidify the positions that you have, whether it's edge, whether it's linebacker, D-tackle, make sure everyone knows what they have going into next year, because I think Jalen Walker needs to be a every down defensive end for you guys. I think the experiment of trying to have him off ball a little bit, on the ball a little bit, I think he showed so much more potential when he was on the ball, getting that pass rush. That's going to be y'all biggest thing. And it's really just coaching. I think y'all have a great team going forward, but I think it's the small things that really need to be worked on. And then with the Bucks case, very simply, what is that offense going to look like now? Chris Godwin is still just coming back. He's still been banged up consistently. Mike Evans has now been hurt almost all year, and this is his first year without 1,000 yards. Mike Evans has 12 years of 1,000 straight yards every season, and this year he barely cracked 500. We had to figure out what does that new offense look like for the Bucks, and how would that play with that defense? Because that defense was the most suspect of each. So That's my main thing. But Juan, I think it's on you now.
I kind of want to hop on a little bit on the Falcons front too, and I was a big believer in Michael Penix in the beginning, and that there's anyone that can fix Penix, it's going to be Kevin Stefanski. But let it not scare the new head coach from also trying to find another signal caller in the draft or free agency. You need a backup plan for Penix, man. He's turning 25 this year. He was probably to be kind of like taking the next step after showing a promising last 4 games in his rookie year, and then this year was just so mid and up and down that you really don't know what to make of him. Is it just a bad season? It was bad coaching. Was Raheem Morris is not the answer in terms of just like helping develop a young quarterback? Will Stefanski help him take that next step like the head coach like Dave Canales did for Bryce Young, even though it's the door still open for what Bryce Young could be, which I'll touch on in a second. Don't be afraid to look for a quarterback in this draft, Atlanta. Don't be afraid to try to see if there's a secondary option just in case you need to pull Penix out of the lineup and try to infuse something new to take advantage of a roster that's shaping up to look pretty nice if you can just find more depth in offensive positions, especially at wide receiver and maybe at running back, depending on what happens to your RB2 position in free agency. Now, moving on to my picks for the Panthers. They showed a lot of promise this year. I am on the Bryce Young hype train. Do not get me wrong. I want Bryce Young to succeed because he shows a lot of promise and a lot of great pocket integrity. I think he is he is a good quarterback. You just need to continue to help him build that confidence and continue to develop him. But to do that, you got to get him even more weapons. Yes, he has a great receiving threat and Tedora and I can't even pronounce his name right. I'm just going to call him Ted. He has a great receiving option in Ted. Xavier Legette is pretty hot and cold as a wide receiver, and he has a bunch of other good depth pieces at the receiver position. But you need to find him a good blanket piece, a good tight end, someone that you can rely on in big red zone threat times, as well as just a dump off on short third down conversions if you want to go with the passing route. You already have a great running game to build off of with Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, but you need a security blanket in the passing game. And on defense, especially, you need to bolster that pass rush. It's a very surface level pass rushing unit, but you need to keep adding more depth so you can have a rotation going to put more pressure and take advantage of a great secondary that's evolving into what I'm going to say is going to be one of the better in the NFL.
They're really missing Brian Burns right now.
Say again?
They're really missing Brian Burns this season, man.
They really are. But that Brian Burns trade, I think, did a great job at kind of helping them set up for building some depth on defense. I think you still have more depth that you can build, but this is a good draft that you can build depth with. As for the Saints, they are both a confusing team to really kind of figure out in terms of what they need. Do I want to believe that Tyler Shuck can take this team's places? I want to, because he showed a lot of promise as a signal caller and someone that Kellen Moore can mold into the kind of quarterback that he wants. And we saw what he made Jalen Hurts look like in Philadelphia. Imagine what he can do with what's supposed to be a more refined product in Tyler Shuck. But you still need so much more. You need to revamp that offense. Chris Olave cannot be your sole receiving threat. You need to bolster that receiving core. You need to add big, hard-fighting weapons in the passing game, especially at tight end, because Johnson's not going to stick around forever. I think he's 30, 32. You need to find a big young tight end that you can help kind of replace him and have Johnson play in more critical down situations. And Alvin Kamara's getting up there in age too. You should explore maybe trading him for like mid to late round compensation, and not that you can continue to build through depth and find another young running back in the draft, because it's very easy to find a running back these days. It's really not that hard. And on defense, I want to believe that the Saints defense is very refined and has a lot of promise, but similar to the Panthers, they need edge rush help. They need pass rush help. And I don't know if this draft has it, but free agency might be your better answer. You need a good veteran presence to help anchor down a good pass rushing unit.
Yeah, I want to show something really quickly. So Avery says Falcons stop the run, Bucks secondary, Panthers pass rush. Again, Brian Burns. But Saints, everything, and free Kamara. And wait a minute, if we didn't hear it the first time, we made sure to send it again. And this is the one part I really want to agree with. Alvin Kamara is so terribly used in that offense that is going on right now with the Saints. This is the first year that he has not even cracked 500 yards receiving or rushing in a season. He had 471 rushing yards and only 186 receiving yards. That is woefully underwhelming for a guy like Kamara, especially in the offense where he was their leading rusher and one of their top 5 receivers all season. That is truly telling you something. But I will say this, though. They do have very, very few bright spots, and Demario Davis still doing his thing there, linebacker. They still have Cam Jordan still doing his thing at DN. And surprisingly enough, which people don't understand, Chase Young went to the Saints, and he has actually really showed up. He's showing as that number 2 pick right now with the Saints. I don't know what happened. I don't know what juice or voodoo they gave him. It might be the gumbo. I don't know. But he showed up and had 10 sacks this season, was good against the run for the most part. He shows a lot of promise. So they do have a few things. They don't need just everything. But free Kamara, man. Gotta say free Kamara. But
I'll drop a hot take on that. At 36 years old, I don't know what you'll get for him. He's still really good. He's aged like a fine wine at middle linebacker, so he should get a pretty decent contract size.
I think a 1 to 2 year deal somewhere with a contender really would be the best fit.
Now I'm kind of bringing it up. I know what you should do if you like, because Sean Payton now is kind of coaching for relevancy after that horrid AFC Championship performance that he coached through. And he already siphoned some assets away from the Saints organization. I think he can do it again if he's willing to send like a second rounder and a fourth rounder over to New Orleans for Kamara and Davis. I mean, the defense for the Broncos is already really good. Imagine having Demario Davis in there and it makes it even better, especially with like the mindset and experience that he has. I know that the linebacker core already is pretty good for Denver, but it wouldn't help to get like a cheaper option going in and maybe having more cap space in case someone on the linebacking core might go. And then Kamara can be your downhill, all down running back, because as much as faith as I want to have in the young running core that Denver has, I think having an experienced back to take a lot of the pressure off of Bo Nix to having to be the playmaker every single time would really help this offense kind of blossom.
I like the choice of the Broncos with the old coach, but I don't know about sending any picks because DeMario can easily take over for Alex Singleton in that middle of that defense and be a real difference maker. I like that one. I just don't know about Kamara because I do really like RJ Harvey, and I really like the combination of him and J.K. Dobbins when they were healthy at the same time. That was a truly good 1-2 punch. That was a good 1-2 punch for them.
But you said the key word there, healthy, especially with J.K. How many season-ending injuries has he had with the Ravens, with the Chargers, now with the Broncos? And RJ Harvey, I'm not going to take away the credit from him for how he developed into a premier weapon, but there's something about Harvey that Sean Payton does not trust because he doesn't give him enough opportunities to prove himself in the running game or in the passing game for that matter. He doesn't give him enough touches to do so. I think bringing in Kamara where Harvey can really learn a lot from, sitting at the RB2 position, would not only help benefit developing the young running back, but also, again, giving a sustainable running game to help Bo Nix so that he doesn't have to play hero ball every time.
Nah, send Kamara over to the Vikings. That's a great spot. You send Kamara over to the Vikings. Now you have a do-it-all running back that can be there. They can freely draft a running back to be a downhill thumper. and then you pair Kamara along with Jordan Addison, T.J. Hockenson, and Jay Jettis. All you need then is a competent quarterback. Because we all know that number ain't working. That number 9 is not working right now, people. I can't. So
it was another they got the GM fired. Oh my God! On Senior Bowl week, he got fired. That is crazy.
That's bad.
But
you gotta be some type of bad for that.
It can either be the Vikings, which really helps. But if you don't have a good quarterback to kind of like help balance the offense as a result, it's kind of just going to be all on Kamara all over again, and that's going to be the hyper focus. Instead, it's either Denver, it's either Minnesota, or it can be Kansas City. Imagine Alvin Kamara and Patrick Mahomes on the same team.
I don't want to. This is why I hate the fact that we keep thinking that Breece Hall is going to go to the Chiefs this year.
I was preaching that for the longest time, but Breece Hall doesn't want to be a Jet anymore, man. You saw what he tweeted at the trade deadline.
I know.
I'm not mad at that take, actually. I think Kamara and the Chiefs will definitely be a good fit. I mean, me personally, Travis Kelce is on his way out. He's showing signs of regression. So it's honestly replacing Travis Kelce. And, it's still beatable. So I'm not mad at it.
Exactly. And you can get rid of Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt as a result. And with Kelce, basically, you have another guaranteed good security blanket for Patrick Mahomes to dump out on.
Yep. Don't nobody want to give him more weapons.
But
he's only replacing a
We don't like him. You know what? Go to the Broncos, Kamara. Go to the Broncos. Go to the Broncos. Go to the Broncos. Don't go to the Chiefs. Go to the Broncos.
From Avery's comments, man. I know you are.
No, because at this point, y'all trying to give Pat Mahomes more weapons. He don't need nothing else. He got Andy. That's all he needs. It's all he needs is Andy, yo. Andy has made him look incredible.
We saw what a Chiefs offense looks like without good weapons. Yes, you have Patrick Mahomes, but you can't just have Patrick Mahomes, man. You saw what he was like without a running game. He had to become the running game.
Yep.
You can't do that.
Y'all must think I want
what
him
is
to be
arguably
good.
one of the best quarterbacks in our generation.
I don't think it's going to be good, but, like I said, he's essentially losing a weapon in Travis Kelce. So if he can just replace a weapon and it evens it out, it's not like we're giving him a weapon on top of the weapon.
Yeah.
No, don't let him get nothing else.
Who's your next best weapon on that offense? Rashid Rice? He's probably going to jail.
Listen, I'm cool with that. So listen, let him have Rashid Rice. Let him have Xavier Worthy, who can't stay healthy to save his life. Let's keep him having Hollywood Brown, who can't stay healthy to save his life. I'm good with this. I'm good with it. Don't give him nothing else.
You're good with it as a Ravens fan. You're good with it because you want
I don't want wellness for him. I don't want Breece to him. Come on, people.
Ooh, a running
he
back.
He don't need nothing else. He has the rings already.
Alvin Kamara would be fired. I'm not going
to. Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara would be fired.
Yeah.
That would be, oh my God. They both can get 1,000 rushing. They both can get 1,000 rushing yards.
Yeah, exactly. You can have Breeze as your 1-2 downhill back, Alvin Kamara as your third and situational pass coverage back. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! You wouldn't even need the Rashid Rice or Tyquan Thornton or Hollywood Brown. You wouldn't even need receivers. You got two great running backs, and just load up at tight end, man, and you can make another Travis Kelce.
They've been already doing the whole 13 personnel a lot lately, so that might work for them, but. Let's stop giving them ideas, people. Let's stop giving them ideas. We don't like this.
I love how we went from trying to rebuild the NFC South and instead we're just continuing the Chiefs dynasty.
Exactly. Let's not do that. Rebuild the NFC South here.
The NFC South definitely needs a rebuilding. And, I think that the NFC South is such a mixed bag. You have teams like the Panthers and even the Falcons that are on this upward trajectory. The Saints just... Like Avery said, they need help everywhere. They need everything. They need the free Kamara. And they should have sent Kellen Moore back home to us. But I'm going to leave that where it's at. And
Kellen Moore. Helen Moore is doing phenomenally well for the Saints. I think that he was a great addition as a head coach for Nola, just because he's going to reinvigorate that offense. There's a lot of promise with the Saints. I feel like I can see a massive improvement coming for this organization going forward if they handle the draft and free agency the right way.
Yeah, I'm a little bitter about that one still, but it's okay. I'm gonna let it go. So thinking about, the teams that are in the upper trajectory, what teams in this current stage, pre-draft, pre-free agency, what teams at this current stage are showing the most promise? And I think we already covered one specifically with the Panthers and even with the Falcons and the Saints. But what teams do you guys think are showing the most promise going into the offseason?
Juan, you want to take this one first? Because I got one, but
I will actually, because I have like 5.
Save one for me. Save one for me at least.
I will. Mine that I have the most hope for is one that got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. That's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Cohen has shown that he is a phenomenal coach. He has gotten a lot out of Trevor Lawrence. He's made Trevor Lawrence from going from this derpy, blonde-haired, Jesus-looking figure out in Jacksonville to actually looking like the number 1 overall pick that he's supposed to be. Even when you're losing Travis Hunter, which you're still trying to figure out how to use him to injury, you still did really great on both sides of the ball. You still had a dominant defense that could take away the ball, and you had a passing attack that was really well balanced with a good running game. I think the addition of Myers from Las Vegas really did a lot to unlock the passing game. I think Myers is going to be your number 1 receiving option going forward. Brian Thomas could be your number 2, and then you just put Travis Hunter in the slot so that he can, refine his route running skills and not have to go out on the offensive side of the ball too much, so that he can focus more on his defensive snaps to develop. The offensive line for Jacksonville is one of the more underrated aspects of it. The running game, like I said, is really impressive. The defense is getting back to Saxonville territory. That pass rush is still ferocious, led by Josh Hines-Allen. I do think that it's a bright future for Jacksonville, and I think that they can get to probably the AFC Championship within the next 2 seasons if Liam Cohen continues to develop this roster into a playmaking roster.
I like that. So I got one for you. And mine is actually second round of the playoffs that got eliminated actually. And if it wasn't for, let's be real, everybody, one of the worst quarterback performances we've seen in at least the last 5 years and a half, that team might be the actual AFC representative for the Super Bowl this year. The Houston Texans, people. That defense, and I'm going to say it, and I don't care how anyone feels, that's one of the most elite defenses I've seen in the past almost 10 years. You can't name me a position on there that they don't have either a star or superstar X Factor player. You cannot go to one level of that defense and tell me they don't have at least one star or superstar player at that level. When you come to the secondary, they have 2-star safeties, and they have a young and up-and-coming star at one side and a superstar corner on the other side. When you go to the linebacker position, you have Azeez Al-Shaair, who is highly underrated and a star in this league. I don't care what anyone says. If it wasn't for Fred Warner, he would have been the one to be in there with the 49ers cooking. Let's be real. Then you have that defensive line. I don't care who you got. You cannot name me, honestly, 2 better bookend defensive ends right now in the league. Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter. They combined for almost 30 sacks this season. They both were on all-pro teams this season. And you have them on the same team. Yes, the offense we know needs a good bit of work when it comes to C.J. Stroud getting back to rookie year C.J. And we know we need a little bit more weapons, or the weapons need to develop better. Because other than Nico Collins, who do they really have as a receiving threat? And the running back market is so-so. Woody Mark showed promise throughout the season. They had Joe Mixon on the roster, but he was hurt all year. And then you had Nick Chubb come in, who showed to be a good goal line back, a good maybe one or short yardage guy, but that's really all he is, unfortunately, at this point in his career. They need better weapons and CJ to get back to basics. Because I don't know what's been going on with CJ Stroud these last few years, but it started to make me wean on him a little bit. Like, hey, I don't know if you really might be the guy. Show us that rookie year development that we wanted to see, where you could have been a superstar in this league. Because I still have faith he can do it. But that defense,
Alvin Kamara to the Texans, maybe. If you really want to give him a good running game.
Listen, great dump off, great option receiving wise, running wise. There we go. Yeah, that's what I like to see, people. Yeah, no to the Chiefs.
I want, like, similar to Bryce Young, I still want CJ Stroud to succeed too. The Colts, not the Giants. Not the Giants.
I like this. No. This is again
Giants is
most promise. The Giants show some of the most promise, and then with their head coaching add-on this year, John Harbaugh, they have a good bit of promise showing up. They have a solid defensive front now. Don't get it twisted.
I don't think
they need to make sure that they make him be more strategic with how he runs and where he runs. But Scatterboo definitely needs some more controlling. But definitely with adding in John Harbaugh, I'm scared.
I can't get on board with promising for the Giants just because I think the Giants are going to be stuck in playoff purgatory. And what I mean by that is that I don't think with John, like, I love John Harbaugh. I do. I think he's going to be a Hall of Fame head coach with what he's built, what he built in Baltimore, and how he got them through that. But if he's taking the same tactics and same habits that he had in Baltimore over to the New York Giants, and they're going to be forever stuck in a playoff purgatory where it's as far as they can get is the NFC divisional round or a borderline NFC championship appearance. I can't say that. Yeah, they'll make the playoffs, definitely, but I don't think they'll get anywhere near the Super Bowl. So with John Harbaugh as your head coach,
we're talking promise.
But what
we're talking promise from where they're at now. And right now, they're winning.
But what does promise mean? Does promise mean that they'll make it to like a championship? That they'll win a championship? To me, that's what I feel like. It's like if you have promise is that you will go all, that you have the potential to go all the way. And the Giants will have promise on good deep playoff runs, but I don't think they will have promise to make it over the hump into the Super Bowl.
I don't know why, because I'm feeling I was with, like, as soon as we brought up this question, the Giants was mine as well, just because I think about Andy Reid leaving Philly. You know, we made it to the Super Bowl, we made it to the playoffs, we made it to the NFC Championship all these years, but just could not get over the hump. And he goes to the Chiefs and makes it rain gold over there. So he could have the same effects. You know, John Harbaugh might could do it. They got a little squad over there with the Giants, and they just need somebody that's capable as a head coach, and he's proven to be that. So you never know. And this is me speaking as an Eagles fan, and I do not want to see the Giants succeed. But
I'll throw another bone out there because Avery said the Colts. I might as well just say the Titans too. For promising team. The entire AFC South has promising teams up the wazoo because the Titans are flush with cash, flush with draft picks, have a franchise quarterback in Cam Ward based on how he performed this season. But similar to the Saints, they have a lot that needs fixing. It starts the one thing that holds me back from like really like throwing my weight behind the Titans is going to be just the coaching staff. Because I know what it's like to have Robert Saleh as your head coach. But now you're also having Brian Daboll as your offensive coordinator. 2 New York flameouts going down to Tennessee to try to mold it into a contending franchise. I want to believe it. I like Robert Saleh as a person. He is actually a pretty nice guy. But as a head coach, it's going to be a big prove it for me to see if he can actually mold this franchise into what he's coached the defense in San Francisco to be, which is true championship contenders.
Yeah. And I'm even throw this one in here. And this one was a little bit iffy for me, but I'm still going to go with it because I do like the last addition they made, the Chargers. the Chargers have finally shown problems with their receivers. They got Quentin Johnson to actually play like a first-round receiver. We seen what happened when Omarion Hampton was on the field. That team was able to run the ball with dominance with Greg Roman as their offensive coordinator. Unfortunately, Greg Roman's no longer there, but they upgraded at that position. Yes, they might downgrade a defensive coordinator, as Jesse mentioned, left, and he had that defense humming the last 2 years with top 5 defenses. But they did get Mike McDonald, everybody. And we're not going to say he's the best head coach in the world and all of that, yes, but he is a great offensive coordinating mind. Great. And him with Justin Herbert, I'll say this. If Mike McDaniels can't get Justin Herbert to get over the hump, no one can.
And I got one more I can throw in there. I'm moving on. The Bears, they're very promising. They shook us every way, which way but loose. They did a good job at it too. Caleb Williams took this team further than I thought that they were going to go. And they look good, honestly. They just need to clean up some things, and I don't think they need many personnel changes or anything like that. But the Bears are a little bit of a threat this year, so I'm definitely looking out for the Bears because, like I said, they tore us left and right this season. So, and I did it to a bunch of teams that nobody expected them to come under and come over top of. So, I definitely think the Bears are a threat as well.
Chargers are always a Super Bowl contender, but they've always kind of crumbled. The Chargers are like the biggest if team, and they're led by Justin Herbert, who have earned the nickname If Man. If he has healthy tackles, if he's had better weapons, if he's had a competent head coach. I will believe it when I see it with the Chargers. As for the Bears, I agree with you, Ms. Coach. I do believe that they are one of those like high potential teams, but I just need to see more depth for their secondary and their linebackers because they went down like flies near the end of the season and held up pretty well throughout the playoff run that they went on. So like Ben Johnson's got this team humming. We miss. I'm gonna say we miss him here in Detroit because Lord knows we weren't doing really well with John Morton as the OC, but they got an offensive mastermind on as a head coach and a defensive mastermind. Dennis, the last name escapes me. Dennis Allen, the former Saints coach, leading a defensive unit that I think has the potential to join in the upper echelon of the NFL within like the next 2 years if they continue to add more depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear you there.
There's a lot of teams out there for sure.
What's going on with your Lions, though, Juan?
You know,
but
we could put the Lions on here because you still have a top 5 offensive unit, even with a really bad OC leading the charge. Because how are you gonna doubt Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta and Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and of course the man that leads it all, Jared MF and Goff right here. But you need to rebuild that offensive line. You need to add more youth and durability to it. Penei Sewell is not a one-man line. You need to, and there's a lot of pieces that might be looking at retirement. He was putting up numbers, but again, he's also a quarterback that if he had those 2 tackles, if he had those 2 tackles, if he wasn't injured in his non-throwing arm, if that, like I like Justin Herbert. I think he's a top 5, top 3 quarterback in the NFL, but he is also a quarterback with a lot of ifs on his resume. And until we see like sure playoff success, he is always going to have that big question mark on the back of his jersey. Back to what I was saying, Detroit. Injuries have hampered this team like crazy. The defense is just Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Anzalone, who might leave, and a secondary with a bunch of who's and inconsistent play. There has the Lions still have a good playoff window open, but if you really want to reopen that Super Bowl window, you need to shore up that defense so that it stops getting injured, and you need to build a good offensive line so Jared Goff doesn't have to keep taking sacks every time.
Yeah, they got one great guy over there in Penei Sewell, but they used to have a dominant line. let's hope that those 2 guards they got last year can really develop going forward, because those are the guys that they really was trying to count on this year, really being a big push for them. But in the aspect of the Chargers, let's be real, people. Herbert gets praised more than almost any other quarterback for doing nothing. For doing nothing. What is his playoff record, everybody? 0-what?
0-3?
0-what?
0-3?
Mind you, how we are still saying and. He's never won in the playoffs. But yet he's considered one of the top 10 quarterbacks every single year. Let's be real. And I'm going to say this because I am a Baltimore Ravens fan. Lamar Jackson gets hate for what he does in the playoffs. Yes, he's a great regular season quarterback. But what do you do in the playoffs? Justin Herbert hasn't even won a game in the playoffs. But yet we consistently keep saying he has them on a Super Bowl favorite run. He can do this, that, and the third. He's not even winning his first game. I need to see him win at least one before we can talk really about him being a Super Bowl favorite. He's a good quarterback. Do not get me wrong. I like the guy. But we also have to be very objective in saying he's not it right now.
If you put Joe Burrow on the Chargers, are they a Super Bowl contender?
No.
No.
I'm sorry. Say that again. I was reading Avery's comment here.
I said, if you switch Justin Herbert with Joe Burrow, put Herbert with the Bengals, and you put Burrow with the Chargers, with how it's built around, do you think Burrow can take them farther than Justin Herbert could?
Yeah. With the team that they had this year, yeah. I do. I truly do. Because at the very beginning of the year, they had all their players really healthy other than Rashawn Slater. Burrow has never had a healthier line than what the Chargers had at the very beginning of this year. That would have been his best line he's ever had. Let's be real. So, no, I don't think that it would have been like a clear-cut Super Bowl path, but I think it would have been a better season. Yes.
And a better performance against the Patriots.
Maybe.
I had my 2 cents about the Justin Herbert praise, because y'all know he constantly gets ranked over my quarterback. Well, my quarterback is Super Bowl MVP, but I'm gonna shut my mouth. So I'm gonna shut my mouth. Moving on. I know we're heading into the Pro Bowl week, so I don't know if there's many hot takes to have, but if there's any hot takes to have, or even though I don't know, NFL honors, anything like that, any hot takes on this end before we go into the Super Bowl? Any hot takes from either the gentlemen on the screen?
Well, I got 2. One, I think they really should bring that award out and have that be a legitimate award, Juan. I'm going to agree with you on this. Because linemen are people too. The Protector of the Year award for the best overall lineman in the league. Because let's be real, you never get to hear about these linemen that are doing great. And if it wasn't for the fact of what they do, we wouldn't know about the JSNs, the Sam Darnolds. We wouldn't know about the Patrick Mahomes and the Travis Kelce's and the Jonathan Taylors, the CMCs, because they all need someone to block for them. They all need time to get open. They all need time to throw. And who gives that ability for them? These amazing, amazing offensive linemen, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a guard, whether it's a center, you got to give it to them. And I think that needs to be talked about more, especially when it comes to awards. So I think bringing that award out or having that award be a new award, I think that definitely should happen within the next couple of years. But second,
like they're giving out the first one ever this year, though.
Oh, love that. Love it. Thank you. It finally happened. So my second is Shedeur Sanders, everybody. We all know he is in the Pro Bowl. Shedeur Sanders is going to have the longest pass of his NFL career in the Pro Bowl in flag football. That will be his longest pass. And yes, people.
Does that count?
It will not be to one of his actual teammates. It will be to a superstar that he will future play with soon. Maybe Justin Jefferson. Maybe a Jamar Chase. Because I don't see Shedeur Sanders staying with the Browns for his entire career, and I honestly don't see him making it out this year.
Oh my God!
So
You're
which
gonna
one is the
say
hot take? Is the Shador the hot take, or is it Justin
yeah,
Jefferson?
Shador.
Or Justin
Shador
hot take?
getting his longest pass of his career to a future teammate that is not on the Browns. Because I see Shador getting traded this offseason.
no,
What in the
Yeah.
hot? This is 5 hot takes in one.
no. You
It's
can't.
just one good one because you got to
Cleveland,
think.
Cleveland would be a fool to trade Shador for what he's worth right now. How much money he brings in revenue and like what fans like think for him and how they good or bad, he always keeps Cleveland in the national spotlight.
Juan, you just said my biggest point. It's the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah, true.
When have they ever done smart? When have they actually went and been the team to make the right move? They're still paying Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract that they signed. And he's not been the starter and will not be the starter. He has an $80 million cap hit, and they are keeping him on the roster because they cannot afford to lose him and pay all the dead money that he's worth. This is that same team. This is also the same team that just made barely Myles Garrett be able to stay with them this past offseason because he, being the trooper he was, actually asked for a trade before he caved and got the richest contract in NFL history. So again, this team has showed that they are not as bright as they think they are. The coaches have showed, even though they replaced them, they don't really trust it. They put Gabriel in over Shador for most of the season and had Joe Flacco starting the season out over both. This is not a smartly run organization. So I can see them trading Shador to try to get what they consider better picks and better assets for the future so they can ruin that future more.
Can I dissect this take a little bit more? Okay. Because it has a lot of implications. So Shador moves from the Browns to either the Bengals or the Vikings?
Yes.
Okay.
And let's be real here. The Vikings need to move on from 9. We all can agree upon that, correct? Yeah. 9 should be a backup or at least take the Sam Darnold route. Hey, this is not it for you here. You need some really, really longer time development to actually be a good starter in this league. Because let's be real, 9, it could be a starter at some point in time, but it's just not. And that team, the Vikings, have a win-now mode going on. They actually have a very good offense and a defense with Brian Flores still there as the defensive coordinator that he can do very well with. But the Bengals, let's be real, everybody, they have done Justin Burrow the most disservices almost out of any other quarterback in the NFL.
100%.
They have him consistently getting beaten, bruised, and battered all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised if he asked for a trade. Yeah, they got him weapons, but we're talking about longevity now. Do we think that Joe Burrow can continue to play this way with the way that they have the Bengals constructed? Do we think that he can play more than 10 years with the way that they are constructed? Because the way that it's going right now, unfortunately, I see an Andrew Luck early retirement happen for Joe Burrow. And I would hate to see it. And again, it's not because he does not have weapons. It's not because they don't want to pay him. It's because health-wise, they cannot protect him, and they've shown they can't protect him. That's the issue. So I can see Joe Burrow asking for a trade and going somewhere else. And if that is the case, who are they now going to have to bring in? Because they still got to figure out the contract of Joe Burrow, and they don't want to bring someone in that's going to be super expensive. Why not bring a guy on a rookie contract still, and a 5th-round rookie contract at that, who has the potential to be your next franchise guy still? So again, Vikings and Bengals. Yeah.
Okay. Juan, what you got?
I know we're talking about Pro Bowl and hot takes here or anything, but we got breaking news, y'all. We got breaking news over here because NFL Network's Tom Pelissero has confirmed that Clint Kubiak is set to become the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders after the Super Bowl. All signs indicate that the Seahawks the Seahawks offensive coordinator, will lead the Raiders. He'll be exactly what Tom Brady has been looking for in a head coach, an offensive mind that can actually build a good offensive game plan. And with the Raiders likely to take Fernando Mendoza over in the draft this year, ooh, I am so excited for the Raiders now. Oh, I'm so happy to see this. Like Clint Kubiak finally getting a head coaching opportunity, taking on his father's legacy into being a good offensive mind, and now getting what is arguably one of the only good quarterback prospect in this draft. Oh, the Raiders are going to be a fun watch this year.
So I got a question, y'all. What does this mean now, really, for the Raiders in totality? So, Juan, how are we thinking about the Raiders now?
Oh, I'm actually excited now. Like, I was kind of like down on my luck with the Raiders just because they're such a moribund franchise led by an ownership group that is a man with a cereal bowl haircut and Tom Brady. And
yeah, that's good old son right there. Mm-hmm.
But now, like with Brady kind of taking more control of the franchise and kind of like really trying to drive this ship forward, there's nothing but up for what the Raiders organization is going to do. I think Clint Kubiak has learned a lot under Mike Macdonald in the 2 years that he's been under him, because look where Mike Macdonald took the Seahawks. So with Clint Kubiak, who helped mold Sam Darnold into a Super Bowl level quarterback, imagine what he can do with a rookie Fernando Mendoza and plenty more draft capital and plenty of cap space to rebuild this Raiders offense into his vision. I truly have nothing but optimism for the Raiders.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that, because my thing was, depending on who their head coach was going to depend on their next couple of years. They could have been a down in the dumps franchise like they kind of always been, or they can actually be closer to what, let's be real, 2002 Raiders who almost made it to the Super Bowl. They have at least some pieces in line. They have a great tight end in Brock Bowers, who we know to be a franchise guy. They have Ashton Genty, who even with that terrible offensive line this season, almost still had 1,000 yards rushing. And now you get a guy in Clint Kubiak who emphasizes the run game, emphasizes play action passes, emphasizing heavier sets. They have the capital to do what they want. You get a guy like Fernando Mendoza in there as the number one pick, who we've seen at Indiana do well with play action, do well with a great run game. And all they have to do with all that cap space, rebuild the offensive line from the inside out. They already have Colton Miller still there as a good tackle. So they already have one position filled. And then it's from there, the next 2 years, hey, work on that defense and give Max Crosby some help. Because let's not forget, they still have Max Crosby, everybody.
Yeah.
He's still a top 5, top 10 pass rusher in this league, even if he plays for one of the worst teams. The guy's relentless. The guy's a double-digit walking sack every season if he wants to be.
Is the Kubiak enough for Max to stay, though? Is going to be what people want, because Max has said that because of how last year ended, he might be looking for a way out. So, like, would the better solution for rebuilding this Raiders team be trading away Crosby? Because you can get a lot for one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, man. Like,
yeah.
But is it the right move?
I think if they were to trade Max Crosby, you're looking at minimum getting 1 to 2 first-round picks and at least another third or fourth rounder on top of those two. Because if you can do that, then you're looking at somewhat more of a rebuild along the lines of the Panthers. You get your number one guy. You get your number one receiver then, because they already have a great tight end. So that's something the Panthers don't already have. You already have your running back of the future. You're now building that offensive line. And with all of that blue chip prospects, you fill in the guys in the defensive section. Your first overall pick goes to the quarterback. Your second pick you have easily then goes to the secondary. Get a guy in like a Caleb Downs, a safety that's going to be your do-it-all guy in the back that will be able to lead your defense. Or you can go a route of getting a linebacker. but you have to build and get a blue chip guy at every position,
You need
especially
a
trading him like that.
like Mendoza can be your offensive baseline. You just need a defensive baseline in the same round. You need to build. Like I think, and Clint Kubiak, I think, is a great builder. Like I think he can build a competent franchise. He built one of the best offenses in the NFL. I think he can build Las Vegas into a primary contender. And I just want to say this: the Chargers have Harbaugh, the Chiefs have Reed, the Broncos have Peyton, and the Raiders now have Kubiak. This is probably the best division in football in terms of the head coaches alone, man. Like these are all great offensive minds that are leading the AFC West. I am very excited to see how this division is going to shape out going forward.
And I got something for you right here. If they're really good and they are just as good as we think they are with Clint Kubiak, trade Max Crosby. You get a first this year, at least a second and a third this year, and a first next year, right? You do exactly what the Texans do and go get your two guys. You already have the number 1 overall pick. Go get your quarterback. But you can now draft and move up if you wanted to, even into the top 5, to get a cornerstone guy like a Will Anderson, just like the Texans did when they drafted Will Anderson and CJ Stroud in the same exact first round.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you build a team. That's the best way moving forward. So, yeah, actually, I think Max Crosby being there is a benefit, but also the one thing that has to go for them now.
Juan, you haven't given your hot take yet. Do you have one now that the Raiders have gotten their new head coach, or you still looking towards something for the Pro Bowl? What you thinking now? Because that was a big shakeup.
Oh, man, I know we're saving Super Bowl picks for next Saturday. It's really hard not to give any. But for the Pro Bowl, I think because the Pro Bowl has become just such a joke of an event now. I don't even know how they're formatting it this year. I don't care how they're formatting it this year. I think that I'm going to say that an offensive lineman is going to win offensive MVP of the Pro Bowl this year. I'm going to give it to the same lineman that's also going to win Protector of the Year in Penei Sewell. I think Penei Sewell is going to win offensive MVP this year at the Pro Bowl. The ish and giggles that I feel like this All-Star game is going to be. Not to mention, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown playing in not one but 2 different All-Star games. He's playing in the Pro Bowl, and he's also playing in the Celebrity NBA All-Star game. 2 sport All-Star games that no one cares about anymore. Let's be honest here. That's my hot take. But if I can give a really big hot take, if I really wanted to, just looking forward into the off season. Oh man, I say that Alvin Kamara gets traded to the Chiefs. I'm sticking with that as my hot take for the offseason going forward. I think that Kellen Moore is going to be looking to rebuild the Saints as we talked about. And right now the Chiefs have great draft capital for where they are right now because of their record from this year. I think that they're going to trade for a premier running back. They have to, and it's either going to be Alvin Kamara or, God willing, Breece Hall. But it's going to be one of those two. And then the Chiefs are going to probably return to form into the next season, and we are going to have a very fun AFC West arms race going forward.
It's a good one. That's a good one. All right. I don't have any hot takes myself other than, I hope that the Max Crosby makes his way over to a certain team in the NFC.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Whoa.
But other than that.
Whoa. No. Let me throw this. I don't think if Max Crosby does get traded, there's only one franchise I see him going to, and that's right here in Detroit. Guy is an Eastern Michigan alum, is currently the general manager for Eastern Michigan as well. Now you join a Dan Campbell-led Detroit Lions team, and Max Crosby seems like a very big Dan Campbell kind of guy. All you have to do is give up the assets to do it, and so far, even though they've drafted really well, the last couple of drafts have not proven to bear fruit for Detroit. So now it's time to break out the big guns and get yourself a big proven veteran, and especially for a position that has been missing depth and star power alongside Aiden Hutchinson. So imagine Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby on the same line. Two great whites just coming in and eating your quarterback from the outside. No pun intended.
Oh my! Wait a minute, Juan. I
I'd
have a
rather not
question for
imagine
you.
that.
I got one quick question for you, Juan, and just hear me out here because my mind is working crazy, especially with this new Raider update here for everybody. How smart would it be for the Raiders to trade for Shador Sanders with a second and a third, and be able to then trade away Max Crosby for another first and second? And now that they have their quarterback of the future, they can trade the first overall pick. How crazy would it be for the Raiders to have maybe 4 to 5 first-round picks this year to help really rebuild that team?
That would be crazy if I didn't think Shador Sanders wasn't a good quarterback.
And see, and that's the thing. I do think that, Shador is good, but I just don't think the Browns is going to make a smart move, and I really feel like they might try to move on from him. And with that being the case, would that be some of the best moves for the Raiders to go after a guy like him instead of going after Fernando Mendoza?
It would be the ultimate Raiders move. The thing is as much as I would trust Clint Kubiak, I don't think he wants to coach Shador Sanders. I don't think Shador Sanders is a Clint Kubiak quarterback because, like, you're looking for more like a Sam Darnold kind of person, a game manager who just kind of sits and lets the playmakers do their thing. Whereas Shador is always going for the deep ball. He's always trying to be the playmaker and try to force himself into being like that Patrick Mahomes kind of guy, even though he's not built to be a Patrick Mahomes kind of guy. So I think they stay the course and go for Mendoza because Mendoza offers that play manager, get the ball out and distribute touches enough well to let everyone else execute around you. That's kind of where I feel like Kubiak might go.
I get that. I just think, Shador, his best assets is his accuracy, his ability to keep it on time, and that's what he showed in college. With the Browns, they didn't give him anything, so he said, you know what, I'm going big or go home. I think Clint Kubiak could be the guy to really say, hey, Shador, take what we give you. We're here for you, and we actually trust and believe in you. And I think that was one big thing that was missing from last year with him. Having a guy that actually believes in you.
Well, I'll believe him if he can throw a 60-yard touchdown pass in the Pro Bowl.
I told you it's coming, man. Jay Jettis. No, I'm sorry. Penny Sewell. Look at that.
All right. And on that note, I would like to thank everybody for having me in here today and allowing me to come over and moderate. Thank you for allowing me to be the guest. You guys held it down. And I'm just going to say, have a great evening. Have a great Sunday. And in the words of Avery Collins, Matt Ryan was patting that ball left and right.
Oh, God. No, she didn't.
I'm going to say this. If Jalen Hurts just play in a system and be an adaptable quarterback maybe the Eagle offense would be in the situation that it's